concept of not wasting semen in Buddhism is often related to the broader ethical guidelines and principles laid out by Gautama Buddha. While Buddhism doesn't have explicit teachings on not wasting semen in the way some other religious traditions do, it does emphasize the importance of ethical conduct, self-discipline, and the mindful use of one's sexual energy. The 5 precepts. One of the key ethical frameworks in Buddhism is the 5 precepts, which are guidelines for ethical and moral conduct that practitioners are encouraged to follow. One of these precepts is directly related to sexual behavior and can be expressed as follows. I undertake the training rule to abstain from sexual misconduct. While this precept does not explicitly mention not wasting semen, it encourages individuals to engage in sexual conduct that is respectful, consensual, and within the bounds of a committed and loving relationship. It discourages behaviors such as adultery, sexual exploitation, and harm to others in the context of sexual activity. Buddhist views on sexual energy. Buddhism acknowledges the powerful force of sexual energy and desires and teaches that these energies should be harnessed and directed mindfully. The idea is not to suppress these natural human inclinations, but to use them in a way that promotes ethical behavior, compassion, and spiritual growth. Celibacy monastic life. In some Buddhist traditions, such as Theravada and Zen, monastic practitioners, monks and nuns, take vows of celibacy. For them, refraining from sexual activity, including ejaculation, is seen as a way to eliminate distractions, attachments, and desires, ultimately facilitating their spiritual practice and progress towards enlightenment. Householder life. For lay Buddhists who live in the secular world, the guidelines around sexual conduct are more flexible. While monastics are expected to observe celibacy, lay Buddhists are encouraged to practice responsible and ethical sexual behavior within the bounds of their committed relationships, such as marriage. Tantric Buddhism. It's worth noting that in some esoteric Buddhist traditions, such as Tibetan Buddhism, there are practices known as Tantra that involve the channeling of sexual energy as a means of spiritual transformation. However, these practices are highly advanced, require guidance from a qualified teacher, and are not about wasting semen but rather transforming and sublimating sexual energy for spiritual purposes. The mindful use of sexual energy. Overall, Buddhism teaches the mindful use of sexual energy, promoting awareness of one's desires and actions. While there may not be a specific injunction against wasting semen in Buddhist scriptures, the broader teachings emphasize the responsible and ethical use of one's sexual energy, with a focus on reducing suffering and promoting well-being for oneself and others. In conclusion, Buddhism does not have a specific teaching that directly addresses not wasting semen. Instead, it encourages ethical and responsible sexual conduct, mindfulness in dealing with sexual desires, and the harnessing of sexual energy for spiritual growth and well-being. The specific interpretation of these principles may vary among different Buddhist traditions and individuals, but the overarching goal is to cultivate ethical behavior and reduce suffering in the world.